Hey, welcome back to me, to you. I'm excited to be back here to you. I know you were out there saying, "Where's Sir Rick at?" And I just want to welcome myself back to BCB.
Welcome
Live.
back, Sir Rick.
Thank
You know what? It's good to see you back. You know what? We missed you. I didn't know what we were going to do without you.
You know what? I feel the passion, and I think I believe you, Drive Safe Dave. You sound passionate about that. You sound legit on that. Hey, spent the weekend over at the TX or the Truckload Carriers Association. Amazing event at the TCA. Drive Safe Dave. You know what's been missing? Let me just tell you, we've had COVID, right? And COVID just took over and everything kind of canceled. This, for many people, was the first event that they've attended. You know, we attended the McLeod event, great event as well. And here we go now attending the TCA and going out, and I talked probably about 15 times to 15 different people about one thing. What you're seeing right now at all of these things is attention to safety.
Nice.
Attention to safety, and everything that we're seeing is tied into safety as well, right? I mean, even with your conversation with the TXTA yesterday, everything in our industry right now is focused on safety in some form or manner.
Yeah, it's turning the corner, and I think they're starting to listen to the show, Sir Rick. I think they're really starting to get the passion that's going on here and understanding that's really where we need to go, and that's really what we need to do as we move forward to try to find new ways, new inventive ways to promote safety.
The coolest thing, and there were 4 of them, probably the first time I've ever seen 4 of these, but the what do you call them? The truck simulators.
Oh yeah, I've seen.
Absolutely amazing. And listen, we're going to have some interviews with these folks on with us next week. We're going to get it set up. There were 4 of them there, all pretty competitive, all just, I mean, it was Drive Safe Dave. If you take what these can do, I'm gonna challenge you what you just said. You've never seen what's out there today.
That's
You've
probably
never seen
true.
this technology has really gone. Yes, not the same thing as it was 15 years ago. We have all the different trucks you have are in there. A Volvo, what year of Volvo it is. The same thing with the Kenworth. Whatever that tractor is, they have it on there. Drive Safe Dave, they have the pre-trips where it's all virtual now. Wow. Showing people in that class, right, how to do what to look for and what truck you're in.
Wow.
It's absolutely the coolest thing. Some things too you see on that. You can kind of you know, almost directly, you could take an incident you had, a highway, you know, where a driver may have been too close, or maybe a car cut the truck off. You can take that, export that kind of into the simulator and redo it again to learn from it. The best thing about these things, it's there to teach, right?
Correct.
It's there to watch film. It's there to practice. Ice, snow, it gives real things. And let me tell you, I sat on one of them and did the fatigue driving.
Okay.
And you know what? It was probably the scariest thing I've ever done. My heart was beating, Drive Safe, because you can hear the truck you're going. And when you're doing the fatigue driving, you know, you're watching out there on the highway, and you know the screen's kind of your eyelids, and you quickly become that. Your eyes are shutting down, and you realize that, you know, for that quarter of a second longer that it was when you rested your eyes just like that, what you missed out on. My heart was beating. Anxiety was there because I didn't want to crash.
Yeah.
And Dave, when you're fatigued, when you're worn out like that,
yep,
the answer is to pull off. I wanted to pull up, but I couldn't. That wasn't part of the gig that I was on. I had to drive through it.
Oh wow.
And it was real. And Drive Safe, it was the coolest thing. And let me tell you something. It was cool enough that it's something that we were going to have to, you know, you want to be part of that. You can't help but improve your safety when you can bring that in, put a driver behind it, and there were drivers there that were driving it as well from other companies,
right,
that were just in awe of it, and they were all pretty equal.
Wow.
All pretty equal. All the big companies have 3 or 4. The driving schools have these things. It was just, it was absolutely amazing. You know, we talk about hydroplating. That was on there too.
Wow. Just to trick you up. However, they just program it in and trick you up.
Traffic. Well, it's intersections.
Yeah.
It's real life, and it's what y'all go through every day, and that's what makes what we do so impressive, right? To see the streaks where they are, that's what makes it so impressive.
Yeah, especially the challenges that you face. But it's pretty neat to know that the simulators can throw you a curveball, right? And then teach you a curveball, and we go through it. We see film, right, every day. So this actually puts you in the film.
Yeah, the curveballs are what you deal with though every day, right? The curveballs, you're not getting that fastball right down the middle. You're not getting that on a tee. You are getting you're getting the knuckleball, the slider. Everything is what you're getting, and that's what you're dealing with. And yet here we are, DOT accidents, 134 days without one.
Yep.
But when we follow the BCBs, right? When we follow, that being safe, the communication aspect, and focusing on being on time all the way. Later on, worry about be safe right now. Drive safe, Dave. The technology's out there to help us with that.
Yeah, we have a chance to take it and grab it and seize it, and it's always improving, right? And even
Every
though
time.
you go out there and you look at where will they be next year? Where will they be the year after?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
The cameras, amazing as well. Again, everything's designed for the safety of not only the driver but that trucking company as well, right? To protect the truck company when it's time to go to court.
Yeah, it's
right?
all so you can see that and help and get a bigger picture of what really is going on, because if you're left to that imagination, it's always the big bad guy.
Oh, yeah.
It's always the big bad truck, but really it's usually not, right? It's been proven it's usually not.
Without a doubt, it's usually not. Hey, drive safe. We're talking about, when we practice the BCBs, right? It's saying, safety first, being on time all the way over here. Let me tell you who has that down right now, and it's impressive, and that's that U.S. Postal Service. The U.S. Postal Service, I'm going to go with you right here. Just go with me for a second. Drive safe, Dave. I was checking this out. Here we go. 83.6% service, right, in the first quarter. 83.6% service on their first-class mail. And here's where they go, drive safe, Dave, because Friday, what happens Friday?
They changed their requirements on delivery of their first-class, not only postage, but their first-class packages.
First class. So here it is. They're changing that up. And here's the quote right here. On Friday, we're going to implement new service standards. Implement new service standards. And let me just say this right here, drive safe, Dave. If you're my customer, I'm going to you and I'm going to tell you, hey, customer, we're going to implement new service standards for you.
Right.
You're pumped up, right?
I'm right. We're talking about improvement. We're talking about setting a new bar, right? Setting a new bar.
Yeah, but not here, sir. We're going to go down. We're going to, because we can't hit that service, we're going to lower our standards a little bit to get our service numbers up. Because if I can delay 30% of the shipments a little longer, heck, my service numbers can't help but go up.
I think they went, to 5 days? From 3 days to 5 days on an envelope. So where you might get it in 2 or 3 days, now they're talking minimum maybe 5. Maybe
all right,
5
so
days.
Drive, I'm gonna ask you for some help. Producer, what do you got, buddy?
Well, I was going to kind of correct what was being said there by Drive Safe Dave. So single piece first class mail, so like smaller, lightweight envelopes, traveling in the same region will still have a 2-day delivery time. First class packages, however, those are going to be heavily impacted. So we're going to see a lot more changes coming on small packages, Christmas time stuff, right? You're going to start seeing orders and orders. That's the stuff that's going to get slowed. But if you got to send a credit card to grandma, that probably will get there a little bit quicker.
Yes, and with that, drive safe, Dave. What do you got? I saw you challenging the producer. I had to bring you back in because I thought you were going on attack mode for a second.
I was going on attack mode. I do know that not only did they say they were going to do that, they were going to implement a new service. They're raising the rate, like 25 cents for that small package, like to get it to like $5 or something like that, from what I was understanding. And they're just basically saying that's in order to make a profit.
Now, hold on a second, because I'm gonna. What do you mean by that? Because here's the thing, and this is a fact here: a $3 billion loss in the last quarter that they announced. $3 billion, $2.2 billion last year, right?
Right.
We lost another $0.8 billion. $3 billion loss. Drive safe, Dave. I don't think this is going to make them money. I'm just going to tell you that. I don't think this is designed to do that. But I just question that. When you're losing $3 billion. You've got to change your pricing because it's giving businesses, an unfair advantage. big complaint that we saw from the the last year's President Trump when he was there about Amazon, right? Taking advantage of these rates from the post office. And it goes to show you, when you're losing $3 billion, it's time to raise rates.
Absolutely.
It's time to raise rates. And then on the edge of what are we saying now? A chance that the U.S. may not be able to pay the bills coming up. You know what? When you're losing $3 billion a quarter on your postal service, hey, it may be time to change, some things up. Because for the first time, if it were to happen, the U.S. could default on their loans.
Yeah, and you talk about Yellen was even talking, the Treasury Secretary was emphasizing how use the word catastrophic economic damage, not only to our industry, not only to our economy, but to the world economy if the U.S. defaults on their bills.
Yeah, I mean, even the mention of it, right?
Oh.
We can't get that way. It's somewhere in the middle of next month is what we're saying, plus or minus a few days. The 15th is kind of a target date out there. And it affects a lot of people, right? It affects those of you that are getting those tax credits on the children. It affects you. Our military, it affects the military, right?
It affects every federal worker at some point in some way. Every federal program,
Social Security,
every program, every federal, and you think to yourself, and think back, if you're a federal employee, you're pretty sure you got a job, right? I mean, you're pretty sure that the guys that print the money can send the money out. The guys that own the money, you're pretty sure that's a secure job. But right now, they're talking about if this deal isn't done, they don't sit down and get this passed, we're talking about a major economic crisis here in this country. It's not something to joke about. It is serious business.
Yeah, it's for real serious. I mean, we saw the stock market take a hit last night or yesterday,
yes.
A big drop. Listen to me, this right here, this can destroy a lot of things. This can destroy a lot of this can destroy lives right here.
Oh.
But Drive Safe Dave, I'm going to ask you, this is unscripted here, but don't we create some of this ourselves, like giving away money? Isn't that part of what this is or not?
I would say that that's a factor in the big scheme of things.
Everything adds up.
Everything
right?
adds
We've
up.
got to, again, we got to get this. That's a big purpose of us getting back to work, right? We've got to get back to work. We can't continue to get, some of that money for not going out there and earning it. It's not healthy for an economy.
Yeah, and we got to look at it in reality sense. We can't just dish out cash and not pay it back someday. We can't continue to give away what we have and think that we're going to continue to have it. And that's what we're dealing with here. And we're going to continue to see all of this expenditures, all of these giveaways, all of these programs that we did in the past. We're going to have to pay them back.
Yeah, and these are past sins. This has nothing to do with just a COVID year.
No.
This is the past.
Absolutely.
These are things that we've got to get in place. We've got to fix.
This didn't help. It didn't help. No. It didn't help.
No, there's no doubt about it. Hey, let's talk real quick, a little battery talk, right?
Okay.
Ford makes the largest investment in the Ford history into battery parks, pretty much, in Kentucky and Tennessee.
Yeah, I know they're going to open up this new facility. It's a huge.
They're not just a facility. It's like a
city.
Yeah, it's like a city.
Yeah, they're going to be a zero waste. They're talking about investing not only in this new community that they're going to create on this electronic vehicle, but what they're going to do is they're going to make it. They're basically making it a green city, right? Isn't that the whole intent behind this? Is that it's a whole different ideology?
Impressive. I mean, yeah, the power that they use is not that significant for the size of what they're building, right?
Right, and the waste is there's supposed to be no waste. There's supposed to be, and they're going to have their own. I mean, if you read deep into it, it's changing the way in which we think about doing business and creating new manufacturing ideologies.
Producer, does that make you go out and buy a Ford?
Yes.
Does it make you go out and buy a Ford?
I think it does, unfortunately. Well, it also helps. Let me say that they are offering a $20,000 truck brand new. So that helps too. It's not just the fact that they're doing that, but if I don't have to spend $30,000 or $40,000 on a truck, makes it a little bit easier as well.
11,000 jobs going to be created as well.
Magnificent.
And which again, they got to get those jobs filled. We have till 2025, I believe, until they're full. Is it fully functional when they start to build and start the cities.
That's whenever they're planning on being like fully invested in the electrification of the campus.
Yeah, so we talk about that, and you've got to look at in retrospect. You also have to look at the bigger picture. There's also going to be, part of their industry is going to shrink, right? Part of that industry is going to shrink in other areas and other manufacturing sites that build the non-electric vehicles, right? I mean, once you create this new market, you're going to reduce the other market, right?
For sure, no doubt about it. Hey, listen, we're going to be back to you in about 60 seconds. We're going to come back in a couple of big stories. Number one, we got the Hinckley story. And high school football is being taken pretty serious in the state of Ohio. We think it's for real in Texas. Well, in Ohio, they took it to another level. We'll be talking about that in about 45 seconds now. Sorry, it was 60, down to 45. This is BCB Live. We're the safest station in the nation. Hey, welcome back to BCB Live. We're the safest station in the nation. And Drive Safe Dave, we've got we got safety to talk about. We have goal to get talking about. But let's go with some high school football. Here in Texas, Drive Safe Dave, we take it pretty daggum serious. It's for real.
Yeah, it's the real deal. High school football is without question. It is the identity by which we live in small communities in Texas, I believe.
Ohio, let me just tell you something. I know we got some Buckeye fans out there. Y'all got some issues going on. High school football, the refs make up, a controversial call. We don't like, one of the teams doesn't like, the home team says, you know what, that wasn't the right call. After the game, I like this part. The refs are going over their performance, right? It's performance review, going over that exact game, and they're getting that when all of a sudden this ruckus is going on out in the hallway. It's a noise going on, and it's the vending machine being placed in front of that door, Drive Safe Dave, so they can't get out.
Trapping, basically a little bit of retaliation, putting these pinstripers in prison and locking them up so they can't come out and make a bad call.
Oh, man. So charges have been pressed. And you know what? They were probably 4 Twinkies away from not being able to push the door open. It took all 3 of them to get that door pried open, in which they had to wedge themselves out to get out of there. Charges being pressed. They want to know who the varmint is that puts the thing in front of them.
So let me tell you,
it was probably a dad somewhere or a mom.
So you read deep into the story and you go back, and not only was this must have been a really bad call, because the assistant coach has been suspended for berating the officials and screaming at them, and then apologies have been issued, and they're still suing the school district for being trapped in there.
Yeah, you know what? You may have made a bad call, when the penalties come out, when you get locked in. And this is after everybody's probably had a chance to review it, right? I mean, at that point, you know that you made a bad call. Oh, no, we're stuck in here for another. There's a good chance we're going to spend the night in the place tonight.
Yeah, they forced their way out and made their way out, but they weren't happy. Let's put it that way. They weren't happy without being locked up. But I'll tell you what, be a little bit. It makes refs a little bit more cautious on how they're going to make the call in the future, and that home team.
Yeah, I thought, producer, you had something
Oh,
there.
well, I thought we were going to move on, but they did actually release a picture of the bully who ended up putting up that vending machine, and then later on he went to go terrorize the prom and Marty McFly.
Oh, McFly. Yes, sir, for real. Hey, Drive Safe Dave, now we're going to talk into your area. This goes in a little history here, into Hinckley Jr. Talk to us a little bit about that.
40 years ago, John Hinckley attempted assassination of the president and shot 3 people.
Do you remember? I mean,
I can
remember that part because we thought he was going to die.
Yeah, we all did. We weren't sure. It was a lot. And a lot of things happened and transcended from that. And I think we all have, over the years, we look back. And if you've ever heard of the Brady Bill, where you have to have a license, you have to be registered gun owner, or you can't just go in and buy a handgun anymore. Mm-hmm. You actually have to file the paperwork and be approved before you can get a handgun. Now, you can go in and get a long gun, but that's the Brady Bill for the Brady, the press secretary that was shot at that moment and injured during that assassination. So that came about during that. But I'll tell you what, you talk about one of the most studied individuals being in prison, because he was never found guilty. He was found innocent by reason of insanity. He could not be judged on a crime, but he's been in a insane, or I would say a mental hospital. You can't really say that anymore. He's been in a mental hospital for 40 years, and they're going to release him.
Yeah, and with some challenges too, right? I mean, there's in some of the reasons why that they're fighting that release is his doctor that's been treating him over the years is also retiring, right? Not being part of that group anymore.
Right.
That's a pretty big deal on that as well. People are just a little uneasy.
I mean, right? But we're talking a lifetime away, right? Yeah. I mean, 40 years in there, but I don't know. The law says he can be released. I'm not sure, but you go back and you look, it takes a little bit of crazy to go after that, right? To go out and just try to shoot the president. That's another level. Don't you think?
I'm right with you on that.
That's a different level.
I'm right with you on that, my friend. For real, right with you. Hey, Drive Safe Dave. We go back to some streaks with the BCB live crew as we continue to mount up those miles without an accident. That is an amazing aspect of what we're doing in here. Drive Safe Dave, when I was at the event at the TCA, I had a great opportunity to talk about this avenue, right, of engagement with your people, engagement with the drivers, engagement with the dispatchers, engagement with the companies to get everybody aligned on the safety side of the business. And we see what it does, right? We see the numbers when we can review it, when we look at tape, when we improve upon ourselves. It's an absolute amazing thing. And I just want you to know that what you're doing out there, we get it, right? I mean, I could tell you how hard it is. I know it, but you know it because you're dealing with a situation that's changing every second, a situation that is so challenging. And we're coming up on wintertime, and it's not that summertime's its own challenges.
Absolutely.
The 100 deadliest days aren't in winter, Drive Safe Dave.
They're not.
And here we come with roads, with the ice, with the a little bit more rain perhaps, and we're going to ask the same.
Longer nights. I mean, you got
for sure. There you go.
Yeah, you got incredible number of challenges. Every season has genuinely its own set of challenges, and and I tell you what's great, and as you talk about it, we celebrate the idea of safety here, and we continue to bring this to you and understand that all of these challenges have to be met head on, and they have to be attacked for what they are, and they have to create new innovations, as what you went out and saw, new ideas, and to make it better for everybody. But ultimately, it's the focus and the decision made at the time of the problem and what goes into it, and being better prepared. They say the Army that's trained the best is the best in the field. And I truly believe that. And I think that that's what we're doing here. And I think that's the idea here, is that everybody here facilitates that better training moment, that we can be better in that time when a decision has to be made.
Yeah, and decisions are made all the time, and they're made, when you least expect it, right? When you're thinking about what you're doing next, when you're thinking about, I got to go to safe haven, to a place to sleep now, and you get out of that vehicle, and maybe you rushed it, maybe you left it in gear, maybe you left it, maybe you didn't. What are you doing? At some point, drive safe, Dave. I guess what I'm trying to say is, listen, inside of who we are, we've got to slow the chaos down.
Right.
Chaos is real. When we get into rushes, when we wake up late, when we're pressing for that next pickup time, that's when we got to communicate to the CSRs, to the appointment folks, to move that appointment back. And if the customer doesn't do it, then and you can't rush. If you're late, you're late. When you get into a rush, that's when we back into things. That's when that vehicle causes damage. And when we talk about damage, when you're in a rush, that's when we're more apt, drive safe, Dave, to take life as well.
Yeah, and when you get into that hurry moment and you get into that hurry ideology, you make those bad decisions, right? Because you're not putting first what needs to be put first. And what needs to be put first is always safety. Yeah. And you need to make that decision first and foremost in every decision you make. You have that value based in your everyday life. That, look, I get being on time is a priority. I get getting up on time is a priority. I get doing the right things, but I'm telling you, the value is saving a life, protecting life at all times.
Yeah, and it doesn't, whether you're driving a truck or whether you're doing anything, when you get into a rush, when you wake up late, that's when you realize, you know what, I have the two wrong shoes on. That's when you wake up and say, my socks don't match. That's when you wake up and you forgot to brush your teeth. You forgot to put deodorant on. That's what happens. Drive safe, Dave. When you wake up and you're on time, none of that tends to happen. But when you're in a rush,
right,
when you're rushing around, you just think about outside of the truck. Throw the truck to the side. Let's just talk about life. When you're making decisions on your life in a rush, you will intend to make a bad decision. You can make a bad decision. You can make a great decision too, but you're more apt, right, to make a mistake because you're in a rush. Your mental checklist isn't going off. You're now just trying to remember, what am I going to do first? And you do forget things. And it's no different than when we bring it back to the truck. When now we have, we're in the rush. I didn't get my coffee. I didn't do my pre-trip. And you know what? I was so late last night, I was freaking worn out, Dave, and I didn't do my post-trip. And now I've got a post and a pre-trip. And I'm in a rush.
Right.
Bad things can happen.
And it adds to the stress. It adds to the moment in time in which everything starts to compound on making it worse. Your foot seems to get a little heavier on the pedal. When you're in that, when you feel like you're in a rush. You also tend to make, you want to move through traffic. The guy in front of you isn't going fast enough.
Yes.
You know what I mean? What's he doing? Why won't he go? What's he doing? Why is he out here in the hammer lane going the speed limit? Why would he do that? That's not what the hammer lane's for.
That is not what it's for. No, you're right on, brother. Right on.
That's not what this lane is for. This lane is to pass. And all those ideologies those go through your head, and then you're like, you want to get past him because he's creeping forward. So what do? You creep up behind him a little bit because you want to get closer to the changeover. And that's where we start to lose focus of the decisions that are based upon the protecting of life every day.
Yeah, and we say all that, and we tie it into this week's phrase that pays, Drive Safe Dave, and that is...
that is... nice one. That is... Stay off your phone and make it home.
Stay off your phone and make it home. That's what it is. Listen to us. We want you off that phone. We want you back home. We want you right back here at your home, at your company. We need you there. And you know what? We also want those on the road to get home safe too. We want our families and your families and the school buses and these folks that are in the hammer lane slowing you down. We want them home safe too. Drive safe, Dave.
100%.
Stay off the phone. We'll see you in about 60 seconds with Buckle Up Bob. BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
All right. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. We are going to go over some traffic, if you will, as we start. And again, I heard on the radio, too, this morning that the DFW area has a lot of construction, has a lot of accidents this morning, especially on the outer loop, 635 up here. They had a 30-minute delay to get through. Only one lane was open. So when you're coming into the Dallas area, especially from the east, you are going to expect some delays and slow down. Even the loop, you can see a lot of red all the way around the eastern half. It opens up a little bit in the northwestern quadrant, and then again, Dallas or the Fort Worth area also looks very clear this morning, especially around the loops as you go around it. Shouldn't see too much headache as you go around the Fort Worth area. Up in Kansas, again, looks really clean. Just not a lot of red going on. A little bit of a slow down over here near Bonner Springs, but the rest of the loop looks really nice in Kansas. And you can see there's no rain or weather in either of those cities this morning as we start our commute. Chicago's looked good all week, and it still looks good. Again, you know, it's always congested downtown, but the loops look really good. Yet, just like yesterday, coming into the city from the southwest on 55 near Bolingbrook, you're going to run into some delays there through a section, but the rest of the loop looks really clear as you go around the Chicago, coming in and out of Chicago. Atlanta's really hectic this morning. The southern part of the loop looks great, but everywhere else you can expect some major delays. You can see long stretches of the road coming in and out and around the Atlanta area are going to have a lot of construction and looks like some traffic delays as well. So expect some major delays as you come through the Atlanta area. Philadelphia, again, 295 in the New Jersey side looks good. 76, the turnpike congested as you come into the area. The loop's kind of 50-50, if you will. There's parts that are really struggling with some traffic. But again, 95 down here on the south area of South Philadelphia looks clear and open. And Nashville looks pretty clear as well. Just a few areas in the inner parts of the loop, but the outer loop looks really good as you go around the city of Nashville. So as you come in there again, 24 looks a little congested as it's coming into the city from the south. So you can expect some delays there if you're traveling in that area. But the rest of Nashville looks pretty good, especially in the outer loops. Hey, we'll go right into weather. Sorry, I'm ready to take a break already. Our radar, again, got a lot of activity down here in the Houston area, Corpus Christi area along the Gulf. You can see a lot of rain, some scattered showers over near the Texas Panhandle. And then we've got some here just on the I-44 going up into Missouri, just northeast of Oklahoma City. And again, back here in the mountain areas west of Denver. So you got some scattered storms. As we go through the day, I believe are going to grow in area. There you go. So you can kind of see all of the eastern third or half of Texas and Louisiana, which they don't need anymore. Arkansas, Mississippi, stretching all the way up into Missouri. Oklahoma going to have a threat of rain today, including out here in the Denver area as it moves a little bit more east. As we go through the evening hours, kind of dies down a little bit, but it actually intensifies in the Nebraska, Kansas area. And then tomorrow, when we start out, again, you can see here in Kansas City, and that area should see some strong storm potential for tomorrow. Our winds, not too bad. Again, this afternoon, you're looking in that mostly in the 20s, some in the lower 30s. Again, these are forecasts. Usually they're about that 4 to 5 miles less. They never quite reach it except on rare occasions. So again, we're going to kind of expect, if you're traveling in them areas, you're going to see some 20 to 25 mile gusts consistently probably as you go through the day to day. There you can see, again, not much difference. And then tomorrow, again, really good. The panhandles there in Texas and Oklahoma could see some 30 to 35 mile an hour gusts, but the rest of the country looks really good as it comes to for the weather, for our wind advisory. So, hey, we're going to take a quick break and be right back with some safety.
Welcome back to BCB Live. Yes, indeed, we are the safest station in the nation. Drive safe, Dave. Buckle up, Bob. Great job. Hey, great interview with the TXTA, right?
Yeah, I was really impressed when I met him at that luncheon a month ago, and just the knowledge and the things that they're doing. And what I really love, just like here at BCB, we try to lead in the safety and protecting life. And once again, Texas, for those drivers driving in Texas, is kind of leading the march a little bit. One thing I've found is Iowa's already adopted some things. And as he said yesterday, Dana said, a lot of states are reaching out to them, organizations, how'd you get this done? So they're sharing this knowledge, and we really expect some of this legislation to grow to other states as well.
Yeah, they're actually setting court precedent
Yes.
In many ways, and it is great to know that tort reform is much needed in the industry, and not only that, but in all our legal system, it has kind of grown, exploded into this abuse. And I am encouraged by the idea of tort reform, no matter what we do, and wherever it's done. And it's nice to know that it started right here in Texas.
Yeah, you know, a big subject throughout the event I was at was the image of the truck, right? An image of what's going on in our industry, to try to make sure that we are doing our part as an industry to put that positive light out there, because all it takes is that bad accident, you know, that one accident. And it's just one, you know, it's sad because it's, you know, we do so many things, right? Drive so many miles that when you know, and it's sometimes, many times, it's not even the fault of a truck driver,
Right.
Yet that image is out there. And that's what we've got to continue to fix. Listen, if you're part of this, if you're watching this right now, you know, it's important that you just really do take that into consideration. How you drive out there on that highway is a direct representation of our industry. Yes, you. You know, when you're angry, when you're driving well, right? When you're letting the people pass, when you're helping folks, that's also a representation of our industry.
Absolutely. You look at it and you talk about it, and it's really fascinating, the mentality of it, because you can see four-wheelers make the same mistake hundreds of times, and nobody judges an industry or a group of people. When a truck driver does it once bad, then everybody judges the whole group as bad. And it's really difficult.
Yeah, and what I liked about him was they really focus on educating the politicians, not telling them they're doing a bad job or anything, or pointing a finger at them, but just say, hey, do you know this? And he even said it. I think Lonnie Payne, or one of the drivers, asked, what can they do to help? And he said, just be safe and be safer out there, because they're using these statistics to show the Congress that, hey, not only are the statistics misleading, they're misused by these insurance companies. You know, I think he gave the example of, he's got a dually, and if he's pulling his camper shell in an accident, he gets treated as a CDL. It goes in them numbers, and that's what they're using. And just some numbers, and they really put some light, and a lot of these politicians just didn't even know.
Yeah, when you think about Texas, you know, there's no senators, there's nobody that comes from a trucking background in our Senate today.
No, they're lawyers.
Yes, they're lawyers is what they are, and that is, you know, we've got to educate them, and that's part of what the TXTA does. That's part of what these trucking organizations do. And part of what we try to do on here at BCB Live is make sure we're educated on you on what's going on in your industry, right? It's your industry. And you've got to make sure that you're behind that when you given that opportunity that you're talking to the A tree, right? Putting your vote in there, your voice in there, because they're taking those to a higher level.
Right.
Everything you're doing out there, it really does matter, from how you act on the road to your participation, in the industries as well. Being part of a BCB Live, that's a positive thing, because we take that and push it up higher, right? We take our membership and push it up higher, and our voice gets heard, and the industry all of a sudden realizes that, you know what? These folks are some honest to God, some of the best people in the country. Mm-hmm. Truck drivers still, to their heart, are phenomenal people. Probably much better than most other industries out there. Whether you're a trucking company, a truck driver, I'm going to tell you something. You're America. You move America. You were our heroes during COVID. You're our heroes today. You're protecting life every single day, because what you're challenged with out there with those four-wheelers. 1 second, drive safe, Dave. 1 second. Getting on my phone for a second can kill many people at once in them big trucks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no going back.
No.
There's no going back. And you just got to realize and understand the importance of doing the right thing. And Dana was correct. He said the best thing that you can do is go out there and do the best you can every day. Yeah. He said the best way to help this organization, this industry, is continue to perform at a high level and do the best you can, and never lose focus of that, and making sure that's what you're doing. And great call out, great challenge to everyone in the industry today.
Yeah, and he even said research your politicians, right? Get some education, get some information on them, so you can make an educated vote, right? Not just a vote because it's party lines or whatever.
Or the ads. Or the ad on TV.
They'll be swayed by the ad. Go and research this stuff. And I do like that. We all have one life. Everybody has one life. You don't get a second chance at replacing it. So you've got to protect it in every decision.
All right, buckle up, Bob. What's the topic for today?
Well, we are continuing kind of last week. We want to continue the focus on prevention versus fault. And so just to give some more background on some numbers on this study that I found, we went with what they classify the accidents for critical events. And then just some numbers on the fatal crashes yesterday. Well, now they've got critical reasons, okay? And these are driver critical reasons. As we gave yesterday, that 87% of all the critical reasons listed in these crashes are driver related. And the four that they use for critical are decision, they call it. And it's driving too fast for conditions, tailgating, misjudging the speed of others. Recognition is the distracted, inattentive, failed to observe the situation adequately. We talk all the time about situational awareness. That is a critical reason when they investigate these accidents. Performance, it goes in the performance category for critical reason is if you're fatigued, if you panicked, overcompensated, right? Exercise poor directional control. And then the non-performance is really physical impairment, like just a heart attack, just something that you just can't control. So it's not really considered in your control, the performance part of it. But these are the four, and then we're going to break them down into some numbers for tomorrow and the rest of the week. But just to kind of show you, where does most of these critical or these accidents fall under? What is some of the, is it decision? Is it recognition? What are the most common reasons listed as in these fatal accidents? And how many trucks are involved in that critical reason as well? And again, we are doing, the fleet out there are doing a great job. The streaks are at, again, 2 days on a inattentiveness, I'd say, because driver didn't set the parking brake, right? But the DOT reportable accidents are at 134. That's preventable. And then the get out and look is approaching the 20-day mark. So getting real close to that 1 month. 1 month's great. If you string a bunch of 1 months together, you've had a pretty good year in backing accidents. But at the same time, the goal has to be zero, and it can be done by just getting out and looking. And so the drivers are doing that. Listen to records. So there's always you always want to have a goal to reach. the 68 days is attainable, and about 25% of the way there right now. So again, let's get out and look. Drivers out there, get out and look. Take that time. I know it's raining. Rain is, believe it or not a reason not to do it, but more of a reason to do it. Because again, if it's raining heavy, you can't see everything that as good from sitting from inside that cab. So put on some gear and get out and look. The weather's coming. All right. Hey, we got some videos there, producer. Some great videos here. Hey, you got to keep your head on a swivel. Look at this. All these trucks lined up, right? Boom, and there comes somebody that there's no way the driver can see it. But situational awareness, hey, it's just congested. Slow down, be patient, and see, there's no way to see that there was a car there. I mean, there's no video right there. Maybe you get a quick little glimpse.
There's no way that van, that passenger van that's probably carrying kids from a church, also sees the sees the big truck. They're blinded as well. They can't see from the trailer right there. They don't know what's on the other side, and yet here they go. Roll the dice. Let's just take a chance and see what happens. We've got to look out for them. Again, great job. Situational awareness says a lot of traffic, a lot of trucks. Slow down.
Yeah, and it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Who's fatigued? Who's not? Right. So good job by this driver, keeping that space. Hey, here's one where, again, don't know if this truck ahead, but this truck's knocked over several construction cones there, as you can see, and the driver in this video just backs off. Great job. Don't know what's going on. Might be a good time for a 911 call. If you've got a CB, try to radio this truck. It looks like a big rig ahead. It's really kind of hard to see, but might be at the end of the shift, but just time to wake him up and say, hey, get off the road. Protect his life or hers. Oop. Lost that video. There we go. Again, watch what happens there. Just a horrible decision. WO line, that's a median, believe it or not, even though it's not a big bump, concrete barrier. They put them yellow lines there. That is no passing, and then finishes the pass in a left turn lane. So you can see right up here, the WO lines creates what a lot of areas would have a big concrete barrier there or curb, and then completes the pass in a left turn lane by the big rig. Man, just such a dangerous move.
Yeah, and these are the videos here. We look at these videos, and I'm going to say, that I think most of you will say as well, that's no chance this is a JB Hunt driver. And if it were a JB Hunt driver, you know what? We need to get that information over to JB Hunt. No matter what, we see this trailer, we need to get that number over to JB Hunt because it's probably an independent contractor running on one of their power-only moves pulling that thing. JB Hunt, recognized many times as a very safe company. What we want to do, Drive Safe Dave and Buckle Up Bob, is share this information with the companies like that because we want them to share the same information. We want to make sure that the folks on the road, we talk about image, okay? We talk about fixing the image of trucking. This is exactly what we're speaking of. This right here is not a great representation at all for our industry.
No.
And we don't want that to happen. You out there driving, we want these videos. Share those with us at BCB Live, at bcb-live.com. And we want to get these information. We want to share this with our peers as well because we've got to do a better job of looking out for these drivers that are hurting us, all of us.
Yeah. And one company can't do it by itself anyway. No. You've got to get together with everybody, and it has to be a concentrated effort. Here, it's just, I know the video is choppy, but it's clearly tailgating and then the quick lane change. So again, just got to back off, right? This driver has to back off. It's kind of hard to see. The speed, I believe, was 65 miles an hour. So again, 100 feet per second. It's just too close in this video. No matter what happened, a decision had to be made a little sooner.
Yeah, this goes to kind of what Drive Safe Dave was saying, right? You wake up late, you're in a rush. Yep. That idiot in the left lane, why are you going the speed limit? What are you doing in this lane?
Yeah. This is the passing lane. You shouldn't be out here.
No. And this one here, it's kind of hard to pick up, but you pick up right there, 35-mile-an-hour speed limit sign. This driver is doing 51. Clearly heavy traffic, nowhere to go. I mean, the whole left lane is just clogged. So again, why? You know, you got to always ask yourself, why would I want to do 51 in a 35-mile-per-hour zone there? And you just got to slow it down. We talk all the time about speed. This is a decision. Speed control is 100% in your control.
Well, all right, so I'm a non-trucker. I'm just curious, where's this at? I mean, I've never seen, this isn't a construction zone, doesn't appear to be. Drive safe, help me out here. 35 miles an hour.
See if he can.
I've never seen the speed on a what appears to be some kind of highway at 35. I mean, I think my neighborhood's 35.
I don't know,
I'm just curious. It's just that was kind of an odd one, right?
Yep.
Is it? Did you look at where's this at?
What do you think the oddest state in the country is if you had to pick one where it has the oddest people driving and all that?
I'm gonna go Louisiana.
Nope, California.
Well, I was gonna say Florida, but Daryl Shipman is on the line. He might be able to give us an answer here.
Mr. Shipman, help us out.
Out west, I think.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir. Daryl, top of the morning to you.
Top of the morning, you too, sir. That one video where JB Hunt was passing, that was me.
Yes, sir.
He's coming out of Laramie, or coming out of Lamar, Colorado, fixing to make that curve going into Raleigh when he came around us like that. And after he got by us, he passed two more trucks in an no passing zone on a blind hill.
Man, Daryl, we appreciate you sharing those videos and having the the recognition as well to hit that button. You know, many times anybody has these forward-facing cameras, these outward-facing cameras, you got the ability to record these things. We want to share these things, and Daryl, great job on that. And hey, so just tell me this: was it a JB Hunt driver, or was that an independent contractor, probably pulling a JB Hunt trailer or another company?
It was an independent contractor pulling the JB Hunt trailer, and if I'm not mistaken, that trailer number was 91888.
Oh, I like that, man.
There you go.
9-1. How did you remember that? Did you write it down, or did you just remember that?
No, when it happened, I tried to call in to the company to safety about 3 or 4 different times, but I didn't have a signal out there to get through on it. So we just kept remembering the number over and over in our heads.
I like that.
All right,
because
thank you for that.
It takes folks like you to make sure that our industry, and it is so important that we don't have room in our industry for this kind of for these kind of moves right here, especially like you said, went on to pass 2 more. That's unsafe. That's an accident that's ready to happen, and that's not what we're after, because that's why our industry gets the black eye, because of moves like this.
Yeah, you're talking about a head-on collision. You're talking about a catastrophic accident in the making here when passing in no passing zones in dangerous situations. Yeah, wow, just not a good move.
Hey, Daryl, I'm going to ask you too. It looked like you lost part of your eyebrow on the screen there. You may want to scrape that off.
Yeah, I think I need to a little bit.
Hey, Daryl, thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good day.
You too, buddy.
All right. So, hey, Bob, going back to this other, here we go.
Yeah, and here's our last one. Watch what this minivan's going to do. Again, we talk about, we've got all the room in the world, but you just got to expect that. Gets cut off. Driver, backs off right away and creates that space. So great job. But, it's that situational awareness. Hey, back off, make sure they've got plenty of room here, because they're going to come over regardless.
Yeah, I don't see a turn indicator on. Drive safe on that.
And you'll notice that he yanks it over too, just to get out there, and that's the reason he's creeping up there on that other truck. His whole intention with that was to go around the truck on the right-hand side and to pass on the right in a tight area. And our truck had to back off just to make it safe.
Yeah, and you're always talking about the what if. Well, what if that car checked right at the time this guy's trying to make that maneuver, right? Then they click, Yeah, it's clipping them, spinning them around, and then this truck is just kind of stuck out there in the left. So just another great, a lot of great learning videos, a lot of good things that drivers are doing out there. You know, the drivers that's taking the videos. So great job there.
No doubt. And you know what? And all these videos just show one thing: the situational awareness. How every second, and I don't know how to just overemphasize that because. Literally every second, the situation, you're in a different situation.
Yes.
And what other industry is it like that? I mean, every second you're operating in a different circumstance than you were a second ago.
Yeah, and you're almost in just a couple of seconds. You're almost a football field away from where you were.
Yes.
I mean, and you're continuing, and it changes. It's always changing. It's ever changing, and it's you know what? It's not the same. It just isn't the same.
No, and again, we've been talking about it for months and months, and then when I was doing this research, I was like, it's actually a category that they actually use in determining some critical reasons when they get to root causes. Situational awareness is real. It's a real category.
No, it definitely is. I know we have some questions there. Hey, if you want to ask a question, raise your hand, type the question in. Get involved with this. We have a few minutes here. Talked a lot of subjects today, you know, from Hinckley to the U.S. running out of money to reducing the service from the post office to the truck simulators, videos. You know, we have J.B. Hunt passing on the left-hand side. It's independent contractor. Lots of subjects going on here today. Producer, who do we have?
Yeah, we got a couple here. So Albert Tubbs and then Kerry Mobley. So what do you got for us, Albert?
Morning, Mr. Tubbs. Mr. Tubbs, you there, sir?
Hello.
There you
What's going
are.
on, man?
Okay, I didn't know my hand was up.
Oh, well, maybe you were saying amen. You just didn't realize. You were like, represent, amen. All right, Mr. Tubbs, you be safe out there, and thank you for what you're doing. How about that?
All righty, thank you so much, there, Rick.
All right, buddy. Hey, I know we have Kerry. Kerry, what you got going on, sir?
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Sure can.
Okay. Was that one in the construction zone with the cones mine, or was that?
Yes,
I
sir.
had something similar to what happened
Nope,
the other
that
night.
was you, sir.
Very similar.
Okay. That real similar. No, that truck in front of me wasn't knocking the cones over.
Oh.
The cones were like that, knocked over for a long time. But
He
he
was
wasn't
avoiding
trying
them,
to avoid them either. He was just running straight over them. I was like, yeah, that ain't good. I mean, if you catch a cone just right, it's going underneath your trailer and tearing stuff up, or it's going out on somebody else, you know?
Yep.
So I always try to avoid stuff like that.
So he's
I
just
don't like
running over
running
them, huh?
stuff.
Well, somebody
Yeah, he
had
was
a
just
bad
running
day
right
driving
over
in
right
there
down
for
the
sure.
road.
Somebody was
Oh, yeah.
targeting cones.
Yeah, it was either when they put them over down, they just knocked them over, or I don't know what happened. It was done way before we got there.
Gotcha. Well, hey,
Either
Kerry,
way,
thank
y'all
you
have
for
a
doing
blessed day.
Thank you, buddy. You do the same. Thanks for driving safe out there. Thanks for avoiding, just, doing what you can in the construction zone, slowing down, right? Every once in a while, them slalom skiers get out there. Is that what they are when they're hitting the cones?
Yes.
When they hit that?
Oh, yeah.
That's what they're doing, hitting those cones over, making it a little bit more difficult. Just another challenge that says, you know what? I better look at the situation I'm in right now. I better slow it down. I'm in a construction zone. Things like this do happen in construction zones. I mean, although it happens all the time. So just want to make sure, producer.
Yeah, Gerald Koenig, what do you got for us, sir?
Morning, Gerald.
Good morning, guys. Can you hear me?
We
Yes,
do,
sir.
sir.
All right. Hey, Rick or Dave, have y'all ever driven one of those truck simulators?
So I got the opportunity to do one this past weekend. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Did you get sick, nauseated, or woozy?
So let me tell you. So 3 of the 4 didn't have this. One of them says that they have a patent on that exact thing, which I didn't know existed. But I know what you're talking about because they kind of compared it to a dog sticking its head, why the dog sticks its head out and does all that so they don't get sick. The motion sickness in those things are real. I had no idea. I was like, what? Why are we talking about motion sickness? We're not moving.
When I was with Walmart, Walmart had one of them big hundreds of thousands. I mean, it's like you're sitting in a brand new Freightliner. It exactly looks like it. And Rick, I want to tell you, buddy, I had to stop. I literally was out there trying to throw up. I was that nauseous. It really messed with me big time.
No, it's a real.
And not just me, it was other drivers.
Oh no, it's
yeah.
real.
It
It's real because I mean they made a point to talk about it, and it was patent not to, and that was their big selling point. The one company's biggest selling point was that right there, their patented thing on motion sickness. And I'll tell you, I was like, what? I mean, seriously?
Yeah, you feel the seat move. You know, it feels like, but I don't something about it has those 3 big screens, and it jacked with me big time.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
No, because your body
I'm over here.
feels. You know, because it knows this, that when you're driving that simulator, when you're turning, your mind expects your body to move, and so it's doing all of these things, and it creates that sickness on it. And I tell you, Drive Safe Dave, I've never done anything like that before, but I can tell you when I sat in there, and I didn't do it long because I don't think I passed, but when I was driving that thing, it was I could feel it, because I'm telling you, when I was doing the fatigue driving, I was worried. I didn't like the way I felt inside, because you have the 3 screens, and it's like you're driving.
Yeah, it's weird. Well, I'm here at Bruckner's in San Antonio spending some of your money, Rick.
Hey, take it easy on there. Take it easy on there.
All right, buddy. All right. Have a good day, guys.
Hey, we appreciate that, man. We love the safety. We love the participation. Not so much about spending the money side, but no, just kidding. Hey, those Bruckner trucks, those Volvo trucks, big time safety. These trucks that we continue to see such a all of these manufacturers are going after safety first. Safety in mind first. The technology we're seeing across from electronic logs to the no-cell technology that we talked about out here on the show to to everything we do is relating to safety.
And they not only are they implementing these safety technologies, they're becoming standards. Not just not like hey, maybe I don't need the chicken lights. But they are putting in the things that matter. They're just becoming the standard. They come in all trucks. They're pretty soon all these safety standards will be in all trucks as we continue to evolve them.
And we appreciate what you're doing out there. Continue to stay safe. Continue to watch BCB Live and help us. Give us emails. Let us know how we're doing, what we can do better to serve you. You're our customer. We're here to give you the best information we can. And we're here to also help support you and support your staff, right? On creating a safe environment for you. To give you that encouragement to be safe, because this we do know, the most valuable driver, the best driver is a safe driver. This is BCB Live. We're the safest station in the nation, and we'll see you this afternoon.